James Bernicky, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you here.
It's great to be back.
So I understand we're doing Legally Speaking about real estate law and home ownership today, right?
Yes, a little more into not the closing, but more of a post-closing when you already own your home and different things to be aware of.
Ooh, excellent. Okay, I'm excited to see how much I know offhand because I'm a realtor, but I'm not a lawyer, so.
So you're in the industry, but there's still, there's always more to learn, so.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get started.
Okay, so the first thing I want to ask, and you tell me if it's true or a myth, is that people automatically get all the exemptions, their property tax exemptions that they're entitled to as soon as they own their home.
Oh, automatically? Like it's gifted to them?
Yeah.
Oh, that is a myth.
That is a myth. People don't realize that there's a homeowner's exemption. Maybe if this was an investment property before, or a second home, and now it's your primary residence, you can get a tax break. There's senior exemptions, senior freezes, disabled, veterans exemptions, all things like that. And it's important to periodically look and make sure that you're getting your maximum tax exemptions. My own parents, about 20 years after they bought the house, they refinanced, and I realized they had never had their homestead exemption. And I was horrified to add up how much money that had cost them over 20 years.
Oh,
but
no.
it's important to look at it. And even if you think you're getting all the exemptions, take a look. If you don't quite understand, or if you think you might be entitled to more, ask an attorney. They're very simple forms, but it's important to check.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
All right. Question number 2. I can put the properties I want in a corporation or an LLC anytime I feel like it.
Ooh, okay, the tricky part is anytime I feel like it. I'm going to say that's true.
That is true. Absolutely. Putting a property in a corporation is a great idea. You could have tax savings, liability savings. If you have multiple properties that you own, there are things like Series LLC, where you could have an umbrella LLC and then individual LLCs under that umbrella to help for tax purposes, for liability purposes. So it's an important thing. It's a tool that people can use to keep more of their own money for their ownership of the homes.
Yes, for sure. And that's a good one to consult an attorney for, because that could probably get complicated, especially with the umbrella LLC and then other ones beneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This one I think you'll get. Okay. It's important to review who's on the deed of your home, who's on the title to your home periodically.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, because much like the property tax exemptions, what is true when you acquire the home may not be true in the future. There are a lot of people who come to us for different reasons, and we review the deed of their home and find there's an ex-spouse on title, or it's actually in their parents' name who've passed and they've just been paying the bills for years. And those things can be solved, but it's important to look at it. People get married and they want to put their new spouse on the title. Sometimes people purchase a home when they're engaged and then they get married. You might want to redeed the house because there's better ways to hold title if you're married. So there's a lot of different things. And again, it's just that kind of periodic review of your situation, that things change.
Yep.
And you should take as much advantage of things as you can.
For sure.
All right. Next question for you. And I've had this question before. People call and say, I want to put my kids on the deed to my home so that if something happens to me, my kids will get the home. Is that a good idea?
Ooh, gosh, no one's ever asked me that before. I don't think that's a good idea, but maybe I don't know.
I would say it's not a very good idea because there is a better alternative. So when you put your kids on the deed to the home, they're taking on all that financial responsibility. So they may not qualify for their own home. And if your kids happen to get some kind of lien or a judgment against them, it could attach to your home.
Ooh.
So the preferred way is what's called a transfer on death instrument, or a TODI. And that's something that's recorded, and then when something happens to, let's say, the parents, it would pass to their kids at that point. But their kids would not have any ownership interest, and the property's not theirs until that happens, and it can be revoked at any time. So it's just a lot better way of getting to what you want, but in a much more efficient way.
Yes, and that's called a TODI, T-O-D-I?
Correct.
Okay.
Another question for you. It's a good idea to put my property in a family or a living trust.
Oh, yes, that is a great idea.
And it's a great idea, and it's something that a lot of people don't take advantage of because it's something that can help you avoid probate court, which is very long and very expensive and very stressful.
Yes.
If putting a home in your family trust means that if something happens to you, it automatically passes to your beneficiaries. There's no court proceeding, nothing like that. And again, though I'm not an accountant, I do know that it has substantial tax benefits doing it that way as well. So a family trust is nice, but the owner will show as the family trust. Is that the same as a land trust?
Oh, goodness. Okay. I learned this when I got my real estate license. No, it's not the same as a land trust.
It's not the same as a land trust. A land trust does a lot of the similar things where you have, you can have beneficiaries from the land trust. But the real benefit of a land trust is that if you look up the home in public record, taxes, anything like that, it will say that the owner is land trust number 3456782.
Yep.
You will not be able to really tell who the owner is. So it's a really nice thing for identity protection. And we've found that people who want to keep where they live private, teachers, lawyers, judges, famous people, anybody who just wants that little layer of protection to where they live, really like the land trusts because it's a lot more difficult to find out where they live if someone wants to know where they live. They're not very easily able to. So it's a very nice thing for those type of peoples. So if you're a celebrity or an athlete or something like that, that's a real good option for you.
Yes, or for you.
or for lawyers, or for you, famous TV personalities, things like that. You want to make sure that, your location is protected as best it can be.
All right. Any more questions?
Those are all my questions for you. You aced this one. Good job.
I mean, I'd hope so. It's related to my other job.
Yes.
Okay, well, wonderful. I think we shared a lot of great information today. And as always, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.